Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's about 5:30, and I'm in queue here at the Bangkok Bank at Emporium. I need to change my address and up my transfer limit. I'm sending my landlady a bunch of money, and I guess I have it capped out at 50,000 baht. So I tried to change the daily limit, and it said show up at the bank with your passport. I guess that's okay for security reasons. These banks in Bangkok will give you an old school passbook. I haven't had one of these since, 1976 when I was 10 years old, but bring it. Every time you come to the bank, every time you go to immigration, and keep it nice and dry, they are going to use that thing just like we did in the 70s. They'll put it in a machine and it just goes to town and updates your passbook with every ATM, every merchant charge, all that kind of thing. Also, bring your passport to not only the bank, but anything you're really doing. I keep a copy of my passport in my wallet, and that seems to work fine for the cell phone store or paying your electric bill. Everybody wants your passport. They're not interested in your California, I assume, or Australian driver's license. So keep that copy. But coming to the bank, yeah, it's all originals. So I just left the Bangkok Bank branch, which is tucked away in a corner here at the Emporium. It's more in the office building, but you can find it. Very helpful. Everybody speaks perfect English in there. I know there's a lot of talk online about it's easier to live in the Philippines compared to Thailand because they don't speak English. Well, if you stick to the Sukhumvit area, everybody is going to speak English. I'm not expecting everybody to speak English, and in Thailand, I should become fluent in Thai, but that's never going to happen. I'm trying. But yeah, it's just helpful to me in these more expat areas to be able to communicate in English. Now, I learned a few things today. I have a Bangkok Bank account that was opened by an agent. I don't want to get into a big discussion on opening an account with an agent or doing it on your own. That always seems to get people angry. You know, hey, you're stupid. I opened my account on my own. That's a waste of money. Give it a try. I put some nice clothes on, and I had $10,000 in clean $100 bills, and I was turned away at 5 different banks, all in the tourist area around Asok and Phrom Phong. One bank said they would open an account if I bought life insurance, and I didn't really finish the discussion. I believe it was a $50 fee yearly for that life insurance. Again, Facebook, people will just go in circles about this opening in a bank account. Myself, I paid an agent about $100 US. At the time, it was Siam legal in the Nanai area. I don't know if they still do it, but that was probably the best $100 I spent. Now, I just had a discussion. I'm not earning a lot of interest on that account. I think 0.06. And I just asked the ladies in the bank, hey, is there an account where that will be fine for immigration and I can earn a little more interest? And they said, yes, we have such and such account that earns I believe she said 5%. Again, that's not life-shattering money. However, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication. It was more, I thought it was like a money market account in the US, which is usually with a balance restriction, but it pays a little bit more. I think this is more like a CD because they were saying things like put the 800,000 in this account, earn the 1.5, and use the other account for your daily spend. And I was saying, why can't I just use my daily spend out of the 1.5? And when we finally got to the bottom of things, if I understood correct, the 1.5 was more like you cannot touch it for either 6 months and you earn 1%, or you can't touch it for a year and you earn 1.5. So to me, that's more like a CD. I'm not really worried on whatever this is, $20,000 or $30,000. Well, I guess it's more than that. I have at least the 800,000 baht, and many times I have 2 million baht in there. I just transfer money over when the baht is good in the United States, and I just don't spend it. I just spent 6 months on my rent. But other than that, I try to put as much as I can on a U.S. credit card to get those airline miles. So there's a lot of discussion on should you keep the 800,000 bank over here or keep it earning 4% interest, I guess, in a CD in the United States. I'm not real worried about earning 4% on $22,000. To me, that's small money. I'm a little bit more concerned on transferring money when the bot is 36 or 37 to 1 as compared to 34 to 1, and it's possible that it could drop down to 32 to 1. Do the math on how many bot you're going to need if it's down at 34 to 1 as opposed to 37 to 1 darn near today. That's a big difference. It's thousands of dollars. So do that math, assuming you're going to go with the transferring over 65,000 baht each month in lieu of having the 800,000 in the bank. 1 month you might get 36. 1 month you might get 34. And you'll have to factor that in. Myself, I just move larger amounts if it's 10,000, 15,000 when the bot is high, and that is what I have in my bank. But again, money matters are very personal decisions. And one thing I learned today, I learned something every day over here in Thailand. I'm paying 6 months rent to my landlady. That was just the deal we worked out to keep my rent low and sign a 2-year lease. Again, that was my decision. If you are afraid to prepay your rent, don't do it. That will be your decision. But when I went to transfer the money, it wouldn't let me do it. It said you can only transfer 50,000 baht in a day. I was trying to do 114. It said you need to come into the bank and present your passport. She must have filled out 15 forms and stamped it all. It reminded me of being in the Navy back in the 80s when everything was done in triplicate and rubber stamped. And then she took my photo and said, okay, now try to transfer the money. I went to do it, and it said, we need facial recognition. And they told me anything over, I believe they said 50,000 baht, you need to have your photo taken at the bank, and it needs to match the photo on your phone with the facial recognition. So I got that dialed in. I also asked one other question while they were being so helpful. When I set up the account, had a Visa, well, it's a MasterCard ATM, and every year I get charged 300 baht. It's not life-shattering money, but I've never once used that MasterCard. I've used the card as an ATM, but I've never once gave a restaurant my Bangkok Bank MasterCard to pay my bill. If I want to pay with my Thai bank account, which I rarely do, but sometimes street food, whatever it is, I need to scan a QR code. I do just that. I scan. I've never used the card. So I asked them, is there a free ATM card? Again, I don't really care about 300 baht, but I've paid it 2 years in a row now, and I'll probably pay it for the next 10 years before I get to asking the question again. And they basically said there is no free ATM card. They're all 300 baht, I think was the answer they gave me. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep the card with the MasterCard symbol on it in case of an emergency. I've also never used my Thai bank account abroad. I've always used my U.S. banks. They did say I did not have to do anything to use my card in Hong Kong or Australia, for example. I believe they told me it's a 150, sometimes a 200 baht ATM charge, and then, of course, whatever the foreign bank is going to charge. And this is looking across Benchasiri Park to the IKEA and the M-Sphere Mall. One other issue, you will hear a lot of talk online about having to do everything at your home branch. I called my home branch, which is a SOK, the exchange tower of Bangkok Bank, and they told me, nah, you can do this at any branch. I said, okay, I'm going to head over to the Emporium that's closest to my home, and they said, that's fine. Anybody can do that for you. Also, with immigration paperwork, I don't want to pass out advice. I'm just telling you what happened for me. You'll hear other people say, you need to go to your home branch to get your bank book updated, etc. when you go into immigration to show that $800,000 has been in there the majority of the year, on and on. That's not how it works here for me anyhow in Bangkok. I went to immigration. I needed one form that I got incorrect at the Asok branch, and she said, just go on down to the basement. There's a Bangkok branch down there, and that's fine. I even asked the immigration agent. I was told I had to go to my home office, and she says, no, doesn't work that way here. Go on down below. And for today's work that I did, they said, that's fine, come on in here. I think the only real issue is if I change passport numbers, and I'm not sure when I get a new passport. I still have 4 or 5 years left on my passport. I've had 2 or 3 updates over the years. I thought the number remained the same, but I'm not entirely positive. There might be a little bit of a hassle if you get a fresh passport. Maybe you need to take that into your home branch. Again, I'm not sure. But as far as you must go to your home branch to do everything, that just hasn't been the case for me. And just to clarify, I probably said it wrong. I was told that 1.5% I would earn. And again, I'm comparing that to, in the United States right now, I think you can earn close to 5% on different CDs and all. And I'm doing that as well with some of my money in the U.S. But here, it was a 1.5. So basically, they said you can put your $800,000 for immigration in there and then use the other account for your daily spending. And yes, we will open a second account. Since you already have one open, no problem. So I hope that clears things up. So thanks for following along this little run to the bank today, and maybe this information will help somebody. Have a great day.